So we're just cruising around, checking out our latest home here in Florida for the next couple of days. It's hard to believe that we've been full-time RVing for 8 months, all over the country, checking out different things. So if you're new to our channel, we are full-time RVers who started in February of 2018, full-time RVing around the country. And so far we've gone about 18,000 miles?
Yeah, about that.
After 8 months of full-time RVing, we've learned some things, we've made some mistakes.
What?
Yeah.
Mistakes.
Had our share of fun.
So there's a cat in our engine.
We're having to plan around a bad Hurricane Florence that's coming in. So we're gonna do a 5-part series that just offers up some different tips on some of the basics of full-time RVing. So we're gonna start first with what is probably the most important part of full-time RVing. The question we get the most is money, budgeting.
How much
does it cost to full-time RV? So this video will hopefully give you some ideas on how much it will cost to full-time RV so that you can maybe come up with a budget that fits your family and your lifestyle. But it is very variable based on how many people you have in your family and what your lifestyle is like. Bye, have fun.
Bye. Wait, is it the red tide?
Yep, they still have red tide, so you can't go in the water.
We can't touch the water, but we can touch the sand.
And Farmer's gonna hang out with us.
Oh, look at the beach.
Alright, so this video on budgeting is by no means going to be complete. There's just so many things that go into RVing and the budget, and there might be little expenses that you have that, you know, we don't have. If you have any questions of something that we didn't cover and you'd like to know about it, just put them down in the comments down below. Oh, now wait. Turtles. There's a turtle. There's signs for turtles, but there's actually a turtle just hanging out in the grass. Look at him. Oh, it's okay. I didn't mean to scare you. Go about eating.
He's moving.
You can go pretty quick.
Is that his hole?
I don't know. Is that where he's going?
Boom.
Is that your hole? Oh, that is so cool.
They got his hole like taped off so nobody disturbs it for him. He's got a nice little place.
So first, biggest expense? One of the biggest expenses.
Yeah, it's the biggest, and it's the kind of the easiest to go to first because it's the one that people kind of think of right away.
Fuel costs.
Yeah.
And actually fuel cost doesn't have to be the biggest expense. It depends, again, what your lifestyle is. So if you're going to go and just RV to like one spot and stay there 3 months and then, you know, drive 500 miles or whatever and park at another spot for a month or something, then your fuel costs aren't as expensive.
So this is like our shortest trip probably ever. We're just going like 15-20 minutes down the road to the next state park.
If you do what we've been doing for the past 8 months, which is driving back and forth across the country and down to Florida a bunch of times.
Yeah, the 5-day trip from California to Pennsylvania.
2,800 miles in 5 days.
It was not a good plan from the fuel cost perspective.
No, that kind of blew our fuel budget. We generally budget like $800 for fuel because we do
per month. Yeah.
Per month. We have a tendency to move a lot. We spend a week or two some places.
And that's just to give you an idea of what that means as far as distance. That's with about an average of 1,000 miles per month.
1,500 miles.
Oh, 1,500 we use, that's right.
Yeah, we calculated on going 1,500
so
miles
1,500
a month.
miles just for the RV and for the car. So what,
we have
in case you're not familiar with our setup, we drive the car separately instead of towing it. Just for the less hassle and the stress of having to hook up and tow.
Yeah.
So we have that a little bit extra fuel cost, but comparatively the car is this big of the pie. The RV is a considerably larger chunk of the fuel cost.
Our RV gets 8 miles to the gallon, our car gets about 20 miles to the gallon. Going about 1,500 miles a month, we spend, you know, we can spend about $750, $800 a month. So know how much you're going to be driving if you want to save on fuel, you know, stay in places longer.
We were just in the Panhandle or the Florida Keys, and we kayaked on the Atlantic Ocean. Disclaimer: the Atlantic Ocean was not like this. It was completely flat.
No. It was like this, and we're just super brave and skilled.
Yeah, we would never kayak on that. No. Nope. That's a game we like to play, is don't let the water touch you.
All right, now that we've given you sort of the bad news of fuel costs, that it can be pretty expensive. The good news is it's something you have control over. And a couple of ways that we've found to keep the costs down, if that's something you're looking to do, is first of all, drive slower. I mean, you gotta remember, this is a giant house on wheels. It's got a lot of wind resistance. If you're driving it at 70 or 72 miles an hour, it's gonna get a lot worse fuel economy than if you're going 60 or 58 or something like that.
Wonder how we know that.
I don't know, I think I read it somewhere. I figured out that on one whole tank full, and I used a calculator and everything, I can save about 30 to 50 bucks depending on the price of gas at each fill up. The other way to do it is to just drive less miles.
Yeah, well, that's what we
overall.
said at the beginning. If you want to save money, just stay in places longer and don't be traveling, you know, so many miles. It's, you know.
Yeah, if you drive,
like
and
second
if you only
nature.
want to stay like a week at each place instead of like 2 weeks or something like that, do a week at one place and then only go like 200 or 300 miles instead of like 400 or 500 miles to the next place, and overall you'll be saving a lot of gas money.
Yeah. Another way to save more money, which we found pretty quickly, is go online and check your gas prices. Like, you don't really think about it. I mean, if you don't travel much, you don't realize that states have sales tax special for their gasoline. So you might go in one state and it's costing you, you know, it's $2.50, every gas station's $2.50, so you're like, oh, I'll just fill up. And then you cross into the next state.
It's 40 cents more.
And it's 40 cents more. California comes to mind. California is just crazy. So if you're, you know, going to be going to California, stop and get gas in Nevada or Arizona or somewhere first before you cross the border. That's another way. And there's apps online for that. You can check those out.
And it might be worth looking for a gas station not right off the interstate, but maybe, you know, 2-3 miles down the secondary road. They're probably going to be cheaper down there too. And
another thing with the gas is we actually purposely got a credit card that gave a higher percentage on gas, and you can get some MasterCards and Visas have that. Again, you can search that online for the cashback bonuses.
Yeah.
And some gas stations nowadays offer, you know,
extra
a few
points.
cents off or points per gallon. So that's another thing to look into. I think Flying J has that. And we will be putting a lot of these links down in the description, so you can check those out. Also, we're gonna link this to our blog post on this topic, because that'll have all the links and it'll have some additional information that we're not getting to on this video. So we're gonna move on from fuel costs to what is tie, I guess, for our biggest cost, is accommodations.
You lost. I'm so sorry about that.
This can vary widely because you can boondock, which costs nothing. You know, that's with no hookups on.
we love those. We love finding the boondocks.
We do love those. And we'll just start out, we allot $1,000 a month for accommodations, which we figure is $30 a night to stay someplace.
Yeah, on average, if you could try to hit that, we'd be
Yeah.
happy. Obviously, we're trying to get it for less wherever we can.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're gonna find $15 a night, 20.
Yeah.
And other times we're in a pinch and we're stuck and we're paying 50 or 60, so.
Yeah, and so again, that depends on what you want. If you always want a full hookup with, you know, electric, water, and sewer, then you might have to stay at an RV park. And private RV parks generally run you $50 to $100 or even more a night. So that can be more expensive. State parks and national parks, we like to stay at a lot, and they can be 15 to, I'd say 15 to 40 in general. So that will save you money. And then there's all kinds of things out there that you pay a fee and then you can stay for free or for 50% off.
Yeah, these are the memberships.
Yeah.
You know, like 1,000 Trails.
We don't participate in 1,000 Trails, so we can't talk to that. The same with Passport America. A lot of full-time RVers swear by Passport America. Memberships that we have, one is Harvest Host, which is $49 a year. And then there's a couple hundred locations. It's usually private businesses, wineries, maybe museums, farms, orchards. And you get to stay for one night for free then in those locations if you're part of the Harvest Host membership.
Yep, and that's sort of on the finding free places to stay.
Yes.
That's a great resource for that. There's also Boondockers Welcome. They have the same type of thing. It's
$30 a year.
And not necessarily businesses, even just people that have
That's people.
regular residents that have a place for people with RVs to stay.
Yeah.
And they open up their driveways or their you know, their yards or whatever.
Boondockers Welcome is really neat because it's generally fellow RVers and campers who still have their home, and they just like to get together with you know, RVers, and you go on their site and you can find those people on the Boondockers Welcome site, and then you contact them. The nice thing I like about Boondockers Welcome, Harvest Host is for one night only at a time. They can, you know, offer for you to stay another one or two, but it's generally one night. Boondockers Welcome, they say right on there, the host will say, oh, we'll take, you know, up to 2 nights, 3 nights.
They can set their
4 nights
maximum stay.
So you might be able to stay at a Boondockers Welcome site at someone's home in their driveway or their, you know, field out back for, you know, maybe even 4 nights. We'll have those links down below also. Then for places that you can just flat out stay for free, those are some options. We do that a lot, like when we made our 2,800 miles across country, just our one night stops here and there, where we were literally driving 10 or 12 hours and just popping in for a few hours. We took advantage of a lot of free sites.
Yeah, and there's some great resources for that as well. And a couple of those are allstays.com. It's a great place to find either a Walmart or rest stops or whatever that you can stay at for free. And another great one is freecampsites.net. And that's going to have a lot of the BLM sites, which is Bureau of Land Management, Forest Service sites that are free to stay at.
One of my biggest concerns when starting full-time RVing was about getting places to stay. Like, honestly, you know, where are we going to stay every night? And yeah, you can probably always find like a KOA or something, but you would pay a ton of money. And if you're just stopping for a few hours. So that was one of my biggest concerns when we started. It's not a concern anymore. I never worry like, oh, where are we going to be able to stay tonight? You know, where are we going to be able to pull in? There's so many resources out there and so many things. We've stayed everywhere from Walmarts to Cabela's to Bass Pro Shops to rest stops.
We're trying to get it set up. We've never stayed in a South Plaza before, like overnight. It's right by the Turnpike, so I don't know how that's going to work when we're trying to sleep.
Also, if you're going to do a lot of state and national parks, they are generally cheaper. And watch for perks too. If you are a little more advanced in age than some state parks, like for instance...
Nice. That's a nice way of saying it. Advanced in age. That's
advanced
good.
in age.
Yeah, we're getting
if
there,
you're more experienced. No, we're not.
If you're life experienced. Or...
If you have more life experience, some states offer their residents discounts for certain things. It could be for military. In the state of Florida, where we are, they actually offer for, I think the age is 59 or 60.
Yeah.
Then you get half price in all the Florida state parks.
Yep. And there's disability discounts, and I've been able to take advantage of some of those.
Have fun today. Alrighty.
So this is what do they call it? America the Beautiful Pass. Now, Brian gets this automatically, being permanently disabled. So I talked to him about the discount for the disability, so you just have to bring your paperwork up again like you did at the last park. So we can get into the national parks, all the national parks free, and they're normally, right now as of 2018, they're $25 to get into the national parks. There are yearly passes that you can buy, and if you are full-time RVing or traveling a lot and you love to go in the national parks, it's worth your while because, you know, $25 each time does start to add up.
And then on the other end of the spectrum, if you are not into the remote camping as much and boondocking, if you're staying in private campgrounds or like the RV resorts better, it's going to be more expensive, but there are ways to save there as well. Wherever you're going, if you're going to be staying for 2 weeks or a month, ask for a discount on extended stays, and they might have it. We've gotten those at KOAs, so I'm sure there's
sometimes
others.
There's weekly rates, sometimes there's monthly rates, and the monthly rates can save a lot of money off the base daily rate. So a lot of people will take advantage of monthly rates. One more thing on accommodations is also, and this goes really for everything from accommodations to the fuel to food, all of these are dependent on where you want to travel. You know, it's obviously more costly to travel to full-time RV in California than it is in Nebraska. You know, and it's actually, you know, not bad in Florida. Florida state parks are some of the least expensive.
They're tough to get into, but they are very affordable.
All right, so I don't know where the kids are, but we've been sitting at this spot long enough. All right, so there's a nice trail here. We're gonna head down there.
So this looks like a good place to talk about the next subject, which is food costs and how much money you're going to spend full-time RVing feeding yourself and your family. Okay, now food cost is probably not going to be that much different than what you have right now living in a traditional house. It can be different if you change your lifestyle, but if you're going to be eating the same way that you are currently, costs should be about what they are now. Now, a lot of people don't, I think, know those costs. They don't really keep track of it. They just, you know, go to the store, buy what they need, and spend what they need to. But a good idea might be to just for a month or two take a really good recording of how much you're spending at the grocery store and going out to eat, and that's important. A lot of people leave that out. And then add it all up, and that's probably what you're going to be spending when you're full-time RVing. Yeah,
you might change up your you know, what you make to eat a lot. Like our dinners have changed. We'll try and stock up with things. We might not get to a store for a week or two sometimes, so you know, we have a lot more canned goods on hand.
But can you hit outspin? What? Yeah, seriously. Point gained for McKenna.
Yeah.
All right, the next topic for expenses while full-time RVing is health insurance. And this is a big one. Everybody knows how expensive health insurance can be. There's just a couple of considerations you have to make for full-time RVing, and one of those is what state you're going to have residency in. So you need to plan accordingly and get quotes for that state. And there's other ways, just shop around for the different plans that are out there and make sure you're getting the health care you want and at a price that you can afford.
Okay, these next two I may default to Brian a little bit.
Ooh,
he's more
one of the geeky ones for me.
Yeah, these are the geeky ones for him here. One would be your internet and your connectivity, and then after that is your maintenance and repairs.
So for internet and connectivity, you have to know what your usage is going to be when you're on the road. If you need the data connection for work, it's critical, and you're going to pay for whatever you need to get it done. If it's not quite as critical, you might be able to go with a lesser data plan. But what we do is unlimited plans with 2 carriers. The reason for that is when we first started out, we had the same carrier. We changed the way we were doing things. I switched to T-Mobile on a single phone plan. Diane stayed on Verizon. We switched that to a single phone plan. So we have 2 unlimited plans, and that's worked out great because there have been multiple times when I have great coverage, fast uploads and down, and hers is kind of limited, and vice versa. So if you can afford it, it's a really good idea to have 2 different carriers.
Yeah, that's our big tip for that one. If
it's critical to have the coverage, you almost have to do something like that. But if you don't need as much and you don't stream videos and watch TV through your hotspot, you can probably get away with just 1 plan. And you can also get maybe one of those jet packs I know Verizon has the jetpack
Yeah.
that's just for data, just for tethering, like computer use, and then your phone lines are separate from that.
Yeah, and then you can get a booster,
Right, and if you're
like us.
yeah,
Because we need a lot.
yeah, a good option for when you're going into remote areas, or if maybe you have just, you're going somewhere outside of a city, and you have limited coverage. If you get the signal booster, we have the Weboost 4GX RV, and it's pretty impressive the job that it does in improving the signal.
So I apologize if you see me like look that way occasionally. There's like all these guys out there surfing, and it's like majorly windy and waves everywhere. And every once in a while, like, wow, I just happen to notice that out of the corner of my eye, some guy just like totally wipe out there. So,
Yeah, Diane's gonna go hang 10, dude.
Yeah,
She's heading
dude.
out there next.
yeah. All right, maintenance and repairs.
Okay, maintenance and repairs.
Now remember, it is a house that moves around on wheels.
Yeah.
So you're gonna still have those interior maintenance things like you would in a regular house. A cabinet door falls off, something breaks. But then you also have
you have all the
the
auto
good
stuff. So yeah, not only is it a house that has all those issues, it's also a car basically that can have engine, transmission. You have to budget it in. You never know what you're going to get, but leave some money set aside in case something does happen, and be prepared to shell out the money, because you're kind of going to be stuck when it does happen. If you get a mobile RV tech, that's the only way you can get things fixed. They know you're in a jam, so you might not get the best pricing around, but sometimes you just are stuck and have to get things fixed.
I mean, a minimum of having $2,000 set aside in an emergency fund for, I think, repairs and maintenance.
Yeah,
just to keep it there in case you need it, always have it.
Yeah, that's fine.
If I look like I'm leaning over an angle, it's because I am. Now I'm on the high bench. So over there I have
There is no picnic table that has a bench at the same level as my wheelchair seat.
Nope, we've never found one anywhere in the
Doesn't
country.
exist.
Doesn't exist. But we turned you around, so maybe like if we
the
get off
ocean
the
back
picture,
there.
yeah, look at that.
Right there.
The Atlantic Ocean. Another bigger topic, we're kind of going down to the smaller ones now. But another one is entertainment and activities. And this could be, it's just like when you live in a house. You might go out to the movies once a month and spend $20.
Yeah.
Or you might go out to 5 movies a month and go...
Yeah, you might rent a $1 million yacht.
We personally try and budget $200 to $300 a month for our activities and entertainment. There are 5 of us. Like, we went out on a glass bottom boat the other week. It was only $25 a person, but when you have 5 people, it's $125. So we still, traveling around, part of why we do it is because we want to experience new things all around the country. So of course we do want to do some of these local things. The kids and I went kayaking in caves out in the Pacific Ocean. I mean, you don't get to do that much. No.
If you're trying to cut costs on your activities, you just have to balance it out, make a budget. We're only spending this much per week, and when you get to the end of the week, hey, we got an extra whatever, let's go have fun and do that mini golf, or let's go do that boat ride, or let's go parasailing, whatever your thing is.
Because there's lots of free stuff. I mean, most of what we do is free. If you check out some of our videos, we do a ton of biking, a lot of hiking. We've always enjoyed that, even before we were full-time RVing around the country. That's a great way. You get to see the country, and it doesn't cost you much. A tip is that we've found on this trip, which I never realized, a lot of times places nowadays, if you book ahead, so say next Tuesday you want to go kayaking on the Pacific Ocean like we did out there, you actually get a discount if you book before the day that you want to go out. So make sure to check that out. Most places do now have that. Another thing that I hate to talk about, but it has to be talked about, is laundry. It's not that pricey. We spend about $70 a month on laundry for the 5 of us, which isn't bad.
The time commitment of
it's the time
laundry
commitment,
is the tough one. And
we didn't bother even getting like a washer dryer combo in the RV because they can only do a small load, and a lot of times we're boondocking and trying to conserve water anyway.
you'd fill the tank in
So
no
yeah,
time.
the tank would be filled in like a day. So generally a lot of the state parks that we stay at will have a washer and dryer, and they're usually not too pricey. If they don't, you find a local laundromat. We usually go once a week, spend an hour and a half to 2 hours, just go do all the laundry and get it over with.
But expense-wise, the $70 per month, that's for a family of 5. So you just kind of,
Yeah.
that's probably about what most people will spend, $25 to $75 a month.
Yeah, another small thing, but people always have questions about this is mail service. How do you get your mail?
We use a mail forwarding service out of Florida. It's called St. Brendan's Isle. There are plenty others in other states and even more in Florida, but you just have to find one and check their rates. Basically what they do is you give them your information and set that up as your address, and your mail will go there. They'll let you know what has been delivered there, and you tell them what you want them to do with it. They'll shred it, they'll hold it, and if you pay for a certain monthly service fee, they will scan it for you, and you can look in email and decide what you want to do with it,
Like, what do I
and
wanna
shred
do
it
with
from
it?
there, or have them forward it to you, and then they'll mail it to you for whatever the mailing costs are.
Yep, so we spend, ours works out about $15 a month. Oh, and a little tip on that too, if you are ordering like from Amazon or something like that. Amazon has lockers all over the country, so they will deliver to those lockers. They could be in a store, a grocery store, something like that. So you have it delivered there, and then you just drive and you go pick it up. So there's no extra cost from Amazon to do that for you. If you're staying at state parks, RV parks, ask at the desk. A lot of times they'll accept your mail too. So
well, and they also might have a different mailing address than what the address where they're physically located. The mailing address might be like, you know, the office down the road. So if you try to have something delivered to the ranger station, they might not accept it. So find out where to have stuff shipped.
So we hope some of these tips and some of these ideas have maybe helped you figure out if full-time RV life might be right for you.
We would love if you put some comments in here. If you have some experience from full-time RVing, or even if you have questions, put them in the comments below. And then everybody else watching the video can learn from them. We can learn more, certainly. We just love to build that community and hear what you guys have to say.
So we're gonna go hunt down the kids now. Don't know where they're at. We probably lost them on the beach somewhere. They're probably out watching all those surfer dudes. Remember, stay tuned tomorrow for episode 2 in our series of full-time RV life. Tomorrow we'll be covering planning out your trip and your journey, and where you want to go and how far in advance you need to make those reservations and where to stay.